On behalf of the Board of Directors of Aspire Hub, it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's event, the Cultural Connection and Celebration event. At Aspire Hub, our goal is to empower young leaders, and we are proud of the progress we have made so far, while we remain aware of the huge task still ahead of us. So far, we have trained over 200 youth, we've reached over 350 youth, and we have mentored over 50 students. This has been achieved through our Tech Lab, Cooking and Stories, Energize, and other programs. We are grateful for the support we have received from parents, community, and government organizations. Please let's put our hands together for all the support we received so far. Today I am reminded of my journey to Canada in January 2006. From Lagos, Nigeria, where it was plus 30, to Edmonton, Alberta, where it was minus 30 degrees. Not knowing anybody, but with a heart full of optimism and bright hope for the future. Over the course of my career, that experience has become a metaphor of our ability to adapt, find our own tribe and community, leverage our unique identities, and also to receive and leverage mentorship on the journey of growth. From my experience at the beginning of being the only Black engineer in an industrial facility of over 500 employees, that has given me lots of cultural perspective. Cultural dynamics like speaking only when you are spoken to versus being in a Canadian environment where your participation and engagement is much valued. Concepts of optics and visibility, which can determine success in the workplace, but also leveraging our social skills and valuing community, demonstrating empathy, which comes culturally to us, can also be key success factors. Ultimately, today we are here because of the youth of our community. We are here to see the young people in our community grow and advance in their life and career ambitions. So I'd like to share a few words targeted directly to us as adults and parents, but also to the young people who are here with us, as they navigate the unique experiences and challenges of elementary, junior high, senior high, and even university education. My encouragement to you is to move forward with confidence as I share a few key thoughts. Number one, you have the support of your community. We are here for you, we are here for our young people. We're here to share our experiences, our perspectives, our mistakes, as well as our successes. Number two, I encourage you to reach out and leverage this power of the community. Connect with people, even people you haven't met before today. Ask questions and leverage that power that we have in our community. And the third thing is to dream big. There was a question that one of my mentors once asked me. He said, how tall will a tree grow? And when I heard that, I was wondering, well, depends, I'm an engineer, I was thinking, depends on how you nurture it, depends on how much water it gets, how much fertilizer it gets, and all of that. But he said, the answer is as tall as it possibly can. How tall will a tree grow? As tall as it possibly can. Our ambitions, our imagination is only limited by us. The quote, after a while, I found that quote was from Jim Rohn, and it goes like this. It says, every life form seems to strive to its maximum except human beings. How tall will a tree grow? As tall as it possibly can. Human beings, on the other hand, have been given the dignity of choice. That's what Jim Rohn said. And when I thought about that, it occurred to me that an apple tree will grow as tall as an apple tree grows, whether it's planted in Edmonton, whether it's planted in Lagos, Nigeria, and it survives, whether it's planted in Europe or Asia. An apple tree will grow as tall as an apple tree grows. A mango tree will grow as tall as a mango tree grows. And our youth will grow as tall as their dreams and ambitions are. And so our encouragement to the young people and to the parents, community leaders here, is for us to inspire and encourage our youth in our community, leverage our experience, and help them to grow as tall as they possibly can.
Hello, my name is Abiola Alifa. I'm a businesswoman, an accounting professional, as well as a community leader. My immigration journey in Canada was an interesting one. We already had a thriving career in a Big Four accounting firm as a consultant in Nigeria, and myself and my husband, with a little baby then, decided that it was a great idea to change our country of residence. We had a picture perfect idea for our children to grow up in a different environment, exposed to a lot of opportunities. So we left everything, all our career and our family, our loved ones, and then moved here to Canada with knowing nobody, as it were. We came with a group of friends and landed in Ontario, and I remember we stayed open to any province. We applied everywhere. Wherever we got the first opportunity was going to be our new home. And my husband applied to different companies in different provinces, including Manitoba, Ontario, different parts of Ontario, and Nova Scotia as well. And as it were, we got other opportunities, but we just went with the first one, and the first one came from Nova Scotia, and they were happy to move us. They paid the cost of moving from Ontario for the whole family and accommodated us for 2 months. Shipping, cargoing, they covered everything. So it was a very attractive opportunity for us at that time. We moved, and then challenges, even trying to find a job. You have to learn, new resume formats, working with employment organizations to show us and guide us on different ways of doing things differently, and even interviewing preparation. They were all interesting aspects of embracing the new culture. And that's been it. I remember when I was expecting my first baby after we moved to Canada, you're having specific food cravings that is not readily available at the time. Was also a challenge that we had to navigate through. But in all, one thing that is consistent across board is the fact that the appreciation of community, connecting with new community, both people of my ancestry and people outside my ancestry, has really helped to navigate all of the challenges in Canada. Canada also has helped my self-awareness in terms of my culture, my heritage, and a sense of who I am, and I'm embracing that proudly and gallantly. Most of the time I'll be in rooms where I look different, but the most important thing is me making a difference in whatever room I find myself and bringing my value on board at every given point. So Canada is a land of opportunities, and I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad my family is here. I am excited and hopeful for a much more greater and brighter future.
Hi, I'm Allison Clark, poet and fantasy author, as well as a creative writing instructor. And I emigrated to Canada in the early 70s. And I think challenges of being in Canada, I've been here for quite some time, but when me and my parents came over, I think that we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the genesis of things will be. But I think 2 challenges would be trying to get opportunity, possibility, would be a challenge. And trying to find a place for yourself, I think. And I found a place of my army of light, I would say. And it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So it's not a huge circle of people, but that doesn't matter. And I think the gift of being here for me would be the inspiration. I'm a creative person. I love going into the mountains, Parks Canada, so Banff and so on. And I like communing with nature. So that's definitely a gift of Canada. And riffing off of that is sense of peace. I like to do hiking, just this light core, not nothing hardcore. I think the highlight for me, I hiked up a 1,000-foot mountain, which is a miracle for me because I have a lot of health issues. I'm a 2-time cancer survivor, and I have a lot of health issues that comes from that. But for me to hike up a 1,000-foot mountain was pretty cool and impressive, I think, for me anyway. And I did that with my partner, so that was exciting. So I think the gift of inspiration and something for that, the peace. Canada, it does not have the population base of the States. So we are more spread out. So having those two things as gifts, I think is remarkable and unforgettable.
Hi everybody, good morning. My name is Anger Teng. When I first moved here in Canada, I landed in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And I will never forget, it was very, very cold. It was during winter. And then a couple of months later, I had my first child. And it was very challenging because I didn't have close family members in Winnipeg. They're just people I knew from my country, but not necessarily my family members or my friends, so to speak. It was it was a hard time. I had my sister in Sydney, Australia, so I had to ask her to come and support me. During that, it was a very, very difficult time. It was an exciting time that I had a child, but again, as you guys know, children don't come with a manual. Yeah, so you have to kind of figure it out on your own. And if you don't have any guidance from grandparents or your parents or your older sister, then it becomes very, very challenging. Luckily enough, I was able to get a car and commute back and forth and all that. And then my sister was here, so it was so much easier. The sleepless nights, she would let me at least sleep in the morning while she, I wouldn't sleep the whole night, and then I sleep in the morning while she takes care of the baby. So that was quite comforting. And then I was able to move to Calgary, here, Alberta. My husband got a job and we ended up moving here. I moved here right after COVID in 2021. So I've been here for 3 years. And I went to school in Manitoba, so I had a degree. And when I came in 2021, it was very hard for me to find a job. I thought it's going to be easy because, well, I have a Canadian degree and Canadian experience because I worked part-time back in Manitoba. But it wasn't so. It was very, very hard for me to get a job. But then finally I ended up getting a job. I worked at Mustard Seed for a couple of months, and then the contract ended. And then luckily enough, I was able to transition to my new position that I love. So the challenges here, it's different from back home. For me, one with culture shock, because just this way of living is different. So when I moved here, it was it was quite awakening moment for me. So that culture shock, the weather is also different. where I'm from, it's very, very hot. So we do have hot season, and then we only have, so it's hot and rainy seasons. No snow. So first time me seeing snow was here in Canada. And then the bundling up. You have to wear layers and layers and layers of clothing. So that was something new. But again, the opportunities here, we're able to go to school, and then when you find a job, you're able to provide for your families. Education here, education is really good compared to where I came from. So that's my experience. So compared to where I come from, education here is good. So with that said, I'm thankful for Canada.
Coming to Canada and integrating the life here has not been short of challenges. My husband and I had decided to migrate to Canada years ago in quest of greener pastures, like a lot of us, hoping to create a legacy for our family and secure a great future for our kids. But the reality on the grounds were much different than what we expected. My name is Anne Kalema. I'm originally from Congo, DRC. I'm a child of God. I'm a wife. I'm a mom of 3. I'm an entrepreneur. And prior to coming to Canada, the people who know me would tell you I was a high achiever, a career woman. I was thriving in my corporate career, climbing that ladder, which allowed me to work and even be established in some part of the world. I had the privilege of working in Europe for a few months, working and living in the Middle East for a few years. I worked and lived in Africa. Also had the opportunity to live and worked in the US for many years, where I did even my schooling, university. So I thought with all that background and international experience, qualification, my background is in finance and accounting. I thought that, coming to Canada will be just a walk in the park. But it was not so. Things were really tough, and my greatest struggle in Canada has been of immigration. It just took too long. I couldn't work. I felt restricted at so many levels because my status couldn't allow it, although I was legal in the country. I felt so boxed in. And it started to take a toll on my life because I always did something. And it was really hard. I always did something, and also feel embarrassed because back home the peers were progressing with their lives. They were progressing on their career, and I felt stuck. I felt idle. I felt useless at some point because I couldn't contribute to the household. I couldn't be productive the way I wanted to be and as I was used to be. So, it was killing me softly. And even motherhood couldn't dilute this pain because I always did something. But I like to say that adversity led me to entrepreneurship, which has been my lifeline here in Canada, because it allowed me to become resourceful. It helped me discover part of who I am that I didn't know I was, to discover some gift that I had, just to allow me to shape and contribute to become the woman I am today. Yes, so if you are somebody out there who's going through as part of your journey here in Canada, I just want to tell you, hang on, become the architect of your life, because nobody will do that for you. But I just want to tell you that Canada is still an opportunity, a land of opportunity. So don't wait for opportunities, but create them. And it's even been a motto of mine, create possibilities for yourself, and that's what I've been doing through entrepreneurship. So hang on, weeping may endure for the night, but joy will certainly come in the morning. with that, I'm just grateful for my God for who I am becoming, and for all this adversity allow me to become, and also the opportunities I've been exposed to, the connections, and where it's taking me. So, thank you.
Okay, hi, my name is Olaniyoke. I came from Nigeria. I was in Abuja for some years before I came. Well, I've already desired to come to North America to progress, to proceed on my career. I was working as an IT person, IT support person in Nigeria. So I've been my desire to explore other markets and also expose my children to better education and things like that. So when the opportunity to come to Canada came, I have a sibling here in Alberta. So when I got the information that Alberta is requesting for people that have ties in Alberta, they have siblings, and also they're into particular some type of profession. So I checked and I put in, and before that I wrote IELTS exam, I did my international passports, did my WES and all that. So I put in, and luckily I was able to get the right score. Initially I didn't make the IELTS score, the band score that they were requesting for. So I wrote exam again, and I put in, I was able to pass, and that's how we started the process. Initially, we were in Manitoba for some months because my wife had planned to study some studies. So we were in Manitoba for some months to do a study, but we moved to Alberta, which actually gave us the PR. So I've been in Canada for about 1.5 years, and it's been both challenging and rewarding. So there has been a lot of improvements in my career, because I was able to do some certification, do some training, and also got some temporary IT contract jobs, and also I got non-IT contract jobs. I worked in a store. I worked in a store. I worked with the government in an admin section. I work for Manitoba Health, and currently I work for a streaming company right now, an online streaming company. So it's been like that. Within that 1.5 years, I've changed job for like 3 times, and I've changed job and changed province also. Yeah, so it's been what I like about it. I like about it is the fact that it puts on your toes to continue to develop yourself, to get to fit into the system, and so writing more exams, studying, applying for job, and also the challenges about it. The challenges are the fact that sometimes most time you don't get to your expectation of the kind of job you want doesn't come immediately. So you have to keep trying, you have to keep networking. So that's where the challenges are, and also sometimes the cost of living. Yeah, so those are the 2 major challenges I've seen about it. But the fact that my children are improving well in terms of exposure, in terms of exposure, I like it, and also the fact that I'm getting exposed to a lot of peers, a lot of persons in the realm of IT, and we're exchanging knowledge and improving ourselves. So I also like it like that. So and I hope to be here till I'm ready to go back, and yeah, it's been wonderful. So many things I learned. A lot of also about shock, about culture shock, about maybe things like how they do their things. So many things that are different. Yeah, a lot of things that are different. So many things are different. So sometimes the shocks like that, and the fact that you are even learning things on a daily basis, because as you go out on a daily basis, you see new things, you see how things are working better, how everything is well set, the train system, the bus system. You don't get to see open drainage anywhere, just like that. Everything seems to be intact. So they have their own challenges too, and all that. They have their own challenges, but the fact that you see a lot of new things that you can learn from, yeah, it's an encouragement and something that look up to. And probably maybe when I get back to Nigeria in some years time, I can have things to implement that I've seen here. I can implement them there back in Nigeria. So this is my short story. Yeah, it was Abata that gave us the nomination to come, because I have a sibling here, and I'm also in the profession that Abata said they wanted. So that's how I came to Canada. So, thank you.
Hello, my name is Ayomidotun Ayodele Bamshai. I live in Canada. I am an accountant, a CPA designated in Canada, and I have made Calgary my home. This is my immigration story. I came to Canada in 2013 after an almost decade-long career in professional services in Nigeria, and I came with my bag full of hopes and dreams, having packed up everything I had in Nigeria and moved here. Canada has been an amazing experience. I have learned a new way of living, and I have been able to establish a life that I am happy with and proud of. Canada gave me the opportunity to dream, to see growth, to see potential established, but Canada is not without its challenges. I came in and realized that I had to demonstrate what was known as Canadian experience at the time, even though I had an almost 10-year-long career. In addition to this, there were the issues around the cultural deviations, being outspoken versus being subtle and responding indirectly, being friendly and making small talk versus being loud with your water cooler conversations. Those are significant differences that I noted subsequent to making the move. The best part of all of this has been the opportunity to connect with the community, build relationships, serve in the community, and from there, build a life that I like. I have no regrets moving to Canada, and I look forward to the rest of my hopes and dreams being fulfilled here.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're getting this message. My name is Lavar Sal, and I am a proud born Guyanese, currently living in Canada, and I'm proud to say I'm Canadian as well. I am married to a beautiful woman who was born in Kenya, and she actually has Indian background, and we have 4 amazing kids. Currently, I'm living in Edmonton, Alberta, our capital city, and I'm here to share with you about my journey through Canada's multiculturalism landscape. So over the last 5 years specifically, it's actually been a very deeply and enriching, very transformative experience for me, in which I was reflecting on the very essence of the Canadian Multiculturalism Act before I recorded this video. So, in case you didn't know, Canada was the very first country in the world in 1988 to codify into act that multiculturalism is our official policy. So it's a legislative framework that I unknowingly have been living in alignment with since I arrived in Canada in 2003. So originally from Guyana, the land of many waters and 6 races, I carried with me deep-seated beliefs that diversity is a strength. In Guyana, most people are of mixed heritage, and cultural blending is part of our everyday life. When I first arrived in Canada, I saw reflections of that same diversity here, except it's on an entirely different scale. Early on, I was honored with an award for multiculturalism. And though I didn't fully grasp the significance at the time, I now see that my actions echoed the principles laid out in the Multiculturalism Act. By helping form and co-lead the Black Student Union at my university, I was engaged in exactly what the Act encourages, creating spaces for individuals from all backgrounds to come together, share experiences, and contribute for the continued evolution of our Canadian society. So my personal life also exemplifies the Act's ideals. I'm in an interracial marriage and have 4 incredibly beautiful biracial kids. Our home is a microcosm of multicultural Canada, filled with rich traditions, multiple languages, and shared experiences from different backgrounds. My best friends span different races, and I've taken pride in attending their cultural events, savoring their food, and even wearing some of their cultural garments as a sign of solidarity. These experiences have taught me that Canada's strength lies in its ability to embrace rather than merely tolerate cultural differences. One of the most impactful periods of my life was when I spent in Northern Alberta, a region known for its deeply rooted Albertan values and predominantly white and Native Canadian communities. Living there, where few people looked like us, my family and I learned to appreciate the shared humanity beneath the surface of differences. The bonds we formed with people from vastly different backgrounds have lasted a lifetime and underscored the Canadian way, to connect, participate, and celebrate each other's cultures. So now back in the capital city of Edmonton, I'm committed to creating spaces where people from all walks of life can come together, be themselves, and celebrate their differences. It's my way of paying forward the lessons of multiculturalism that Canada has been a global leader in promoting since it became my country all the way back in 2003. And I'm so happy that Canada took the first step to codify multiculturalism as an important tenet for our Canadian society. So now, my friends, as T and her team put together this documentary, I'm incredibly proud that they are spending time to put actions in place to support and build our Canadian culture. So from my family to yours, pass it.
My name is Mary, and this is my immigrant story. 15 years ago, we moved to Canada with 2 kids in tow. Thankfully, we were employed, yet we had to learn everything from scratch. To talk, to walk on ice, to dress, to work the Canadian way. To top it all, the winter blues, the long lines in emergency, the banking system seemed very counterintuitive. However, relocating to Edmonton, a new city with no friends, no family, seemed to be the hardest decisions we had to make. Life in a new city hit us hard. No friends, huge barriers to employment. Yet we survived. Children growing up in Canada become very self-confident, and they get a chance to calibrate their careers much more than we did in India. Given all the ups and downs and the fact that many of my friends decided to resettle in India, we continue to be happy with the journey, the experiences we've had that have shaped us and our family. Canada still happens to be a good place that one can call home. Safe, with a good education, good social programs, great outdoors, and a system that supports immigrants. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Mireille Zacha. I am originally from Cameroon and I immigrated in Canada in 2004. After immigrating here, I knew that I need to, really take my life into my hands to make sure that I guarantee myself a better future. So I got married and I had my kids, which I considered like my biggest blessing. And then I went back to school to get my Bachelor of Education. And I've been a teacher for the past 15 years. So if you ask me what are my successes and my challenges, I will say that, like I said, my biggest blessing is to be a mom. Other than that, I am very thankful that I've been a teacher in this country for the past 15 years. I essentially taught in Fort McMurray, which I call home. I've also initiated the Black History Month at my school for the past 9 years, where we celebrate our beautiful culture and the impact of Black folks in Canada. Other than that, I sit in several committees and board of association or organizations. The committee here in Fort McMurray, city municipality, city committee, and also board as a board member of associations in Edmonton and organizations in Fort McMurray. I've had the privilege to receive awards for my involvement in the community. One is the community leader from Diversity Magazine. The second one is Women of Inspiration from Girls Inc. of Northern Alberta. And the third one is Community Impact, both from all of them from 2023 and 2024. Those are my successes, and also I consider a success that I now run an organization who is thriving in our community. Something that people don't often think about as success, and which I consider like one of mine, is that I'm authentic to myself. What you see is what you get. And also, I am not ashamed for any part of my life, and I share my story so that it can empower other people. My challenges, I've had several. Like all immigrants, we go through situations. The biggest one that I will mention is the loss of my daughter, Mandla. And that's the reason why I created an organization to carry her legacy, but also to educate people about the challenges, especially now about mental health. The Mandla's Foundation was created in 2020, and we are thriving here in Canada, Edmonton and Fort McMurray in particular, and also abroad. It's very challenging to go through life as an immigrant, but more so when you are dealing with mental health issues. And I want to lend my voice to others and share my story so that we can empower, educate, and also fight for the policymaker to take a look at our situation, immigrant situations, and to allow us to have mental health professionals that are culturally competent. So that's my new fight. That's the thing that speaks to me the most, and that's something I want to put my energy in. I hope the story of mine empowers you, and if you need to have more information about myself, my life, my successes and struggles as an immigrant, or if you want to help shine a light on the mental health issues in the Black communities, please reach out, and it will be my pleasure to talk with you and to see what can be done. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Crystal Mokoko. I'm here to talk to you about my immigration story. Wow, it's going to be exactly November 10, 2024, it's going to be exactly 27 years that I landed in Canada. Wow, a good story to tell and to talk about. I came in Canada, I was 13 years old. We landed in Toronto, straight from Congo to Toronto. Yes, from the hot heat of my country, straight directly to Toronto in the cold. So it was November. It was not as people, people like to go overseas. People are thrilled when you talk about traveling to Canada, to Europe, to this and that. For me, it wasn't that. I was not happy to be in Canada. I didn't want to leave Congo. For the short story, first of all, I come from a good, humble family. My parents both met in Europe. They study in Russia, so they both met in Russia. My mom is a doctor. My dad is a teacher in university. So I am born in France, and then my parents decided to go live back in Congo. So that's why we've been living in Congo since I was 13. I don't think if it wasn't for the war in Congo in 1996, I would be in Canada necessarily. I probably would be in Canada, but not that early. Then the war, first of all, made me kind of run from one Congo Brazzaville, to another Congo Kinshasa. Then arriving in Congo Kinshasa, there is another war starting there where you just ran from one. So basically the second war that I was going through at 13 years old was a little bit too much, and there we go. My dad that was studying again in Canada decided to kind of just take us all over here. So this is how I came here without a proper luggage. I was running away from war and also separating from my mom. So that's why I say it wasn't really my choice, and happy to be here. It was very, very difficult. I didn't accept the fact that I was relocated in Canada. I came with my siblings, so basically we came 8 kids. We are 17 kids, and I'm among the third last one, something like that. And 8 of us came, so the 8th last one came. I was 13, the youngest one was 6 years old, the one right before me was 15 years old, and then you go on until the one that was 26. It was hard, it was difficult. I discovered one thing. First of all, I was black. I didn't know I was black. People reminding me so much about being black, it made me think about, oh, I'm black. So that's one thing I do remember for my story of immigration. It's at 13 years old discovering that I'm black, and then I was so traumatized by the war, so I kind of just went on into this violence way of living, fighting at school, battling, doing things that are not really right, but I guess I was fighting with myself at one point. Being the leader that I am today, I know that within me I had something, but being so young, not able to express my feelings, my emotion, I was mad to be in Canada. But today I'm very happy to be here because it's another story. I grew up to love Canada, to learn Canada, and to start living around it, and basically to be integrated. I was able to live in 4 different provinces in Canada. God gave me the grace of being in sport. One of the things that brought me in sport is because when I immigrated to Canada, I was so violent and going through so many things that one day one cop arrested me. And that cop told me, I don't want to arrest you. I don't want you to have any case. I'm going to bring you to do taekwondo and martial arts. And you are 13 years old. You'll be good at it. Just do it and don't be in the street. So that good guy took me with him under his wing, and I started doing martial arts. So I become champion of the province of Quebec. And then I went to the game of Canada. So I had the chance to visit a lot of provinces at 15 years old. So it kind of changed my mind, my mood. And then I started my integration through sports and community services. So in the beginning, it was hard. The first year was terrible. But today, being 40 years old, I'm amazed by the journey. I love it, and welcome to Canada. You are able to do it no matter where you come from. It's something that still can be done at any age, and you can integrate and be well. Welcome. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Noreen Sibanda, and my immigration story starts with my mom. We are originally from Zimbabwe, and she migrated to Canada in 2001. This was at the beginning of the economic turmoil in Zimbabwe, and she came to Canada and claimed refugee status and got accepted. And in 2005, she was able to sponsor 5 of us, so 4 of us, the children, and my father as well. And when we arrived in Canada, we used to live in Montreal, and a French and English speaking province, but mostly French. And my parents decided that it would be more beneficial for us to move to an English speaking province, although we had already started learning French, and we might have been able to succeed, but I think the decision to move to Alberta really set us up to succeed, because Zimbabwe was colonized by the British, and we had already done most of our formal education in English, and it made sense for us to move. We arrived in Edmonton in 2007, and if you were around Edmonton around the time, you'll definitely understand my sentiment as to why my first thought about coming here is, why are we moving to a farm? So this is before the Southwest development and having Edmonton be as developed as it is today. I believe we're probably around the first few families, although I'm sure there have been some prior to that, but we're around the first few families, and I can say I've grown up mostly in Canada. I've spent over 20 years now here, and so I am considering myself a Canadian in that way, but I still call Zimbabwe home, and my roots are still evident in my day-to-day, in the language, in engagement, and in also my community. And I began community work, working within my community, because as I mentioned, we're one of the first few, and so we're starting to build a community. We used to hold different events, and back then soccer was a big part of that and those engagements, and so we spent a lot of time putting on soccer tournaments, supporting, whether it was organizing food, heritage festival as well. I think those are the things that I think about when I think about the first few years in Edmonton. And then as I completed my post-secondary education, I continued to work within community as well and supporting youth, which led me to working in immigration after completing my first degree. And then after supporting that community, moved on to do Masters in Counseling, and that is based on a need that I saw within my community. There are supports in place for us to settle, but they're not supports for us to be able to thrive, and that includes us taking care of our mental well-being and processing some of the experiences that we've had. And so it was really important for me to start creating that process and seeing that I am nowhere necessarily founder of the field, but I think having my presence and my experience in it has really allowed for the conversations about mental health to continue to take place and become part of our normal conversations within the Black community. I have, like I said, experienced a lot of success by moving to Alberta specifically and Canada in general. The opportunities as Edmonton was growing, I was able to grow with the city and able to grow with the community as well. And some challenges that continue to exist racism. Some of it is within institutions and then individual, but the more visible we are in creating our presence, I think we're starting to slowly counter some of that interpersonal racism. But that's something that does continue. I do continue to think about the world, the community that I want to live for my son, and how that's going to look like and what things need to be in place. And that story really continues within the theme of migration, and knowing that when you are looking for better opportunities and you can find them elsewhere, it is okay to make that leap, to move, but also holding on to your own values and your traditions throughout as well. And my name is Noreen Sibanda, and that's my immigration story. Thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Osarabo Osevenkai. But for simplicity's sake, just call me Osas. I'm a senior data analyst with one of the energy companies in Calgary. And yes, so about my immigration journey, I would say overall it's been a positive one. I left my home country, Nigeria, sometime in February of 2019. And I'll honestly say I'm amongst the fortunate few that have had to enjoy what Canada has to offer. I remember when I came in 2019, I was out of job for just about 4 months or so, 4 to 5 months, because I started working with one company sometime in July. But prior to then, I would say, the government had a lot of programs geared towards allowing new immigrants settle seamlessly into the system. So I was fortunate to, benefit from such programs. But in the course of, applying for jobs and, doing those programs on the side, I got my first job in July with a leading oil and gas company in Calgary. Worked there for about 4 years, and then moved to another company, another energy company. And that's where I currently am as a senior data analyst. What would I say the challenges are? Since I came till date, I would say the rising cost of living. Am I glad I settled down in Calgary? For sure, I'm glad I settled down in Calgary. I don't think I would have wanted to settle down in a place like Toronto or basically the Ontario region, because I have friends from there that are running away because of the high cost of living. And so, yeah, I would say cost of living from when I came till date has actually really gone up. But hopefully things would adjust over time, Will I say I've had any other major challenges? No, not really. Not something that is really worthy of mention, but I'd say the only bad experience I've really had was when I got robbed while trying to sell a phone, through one of those trading applications, but I would say that was probably my fault, because if I'd known better, I would have actually probably gone to the police station to do the trade, but it's okay. That's done, that's gone and dusted. But I would say Canada really has a lot to offer if you follow the system, if you contribute into the system. It has a lot to offer. And why do I say this? I've always wanted to be a creative, but while I was back home in Nigeria, I couldn't avail myself of that opportunity because the credit facilities, were not really something I could take advantage of. But coming to Canada, I've been able to realize that dream, being a photographer in Calgary, and Canada, as to say, developing my craft, being a licensed financial advisor. These are opportunities that probably would never have been able to, take advantage of if I was still back home. Also being able to, get the kind of assets that I have now. I probably would have spent a huge chunk of my life trying to get those assets, which I currently have, as a medium of safe net to when things probably really get bad. But yeah, I would say I'm happy with my move, with my Japa move. I'm thankful to those that have contributed immensely to where I am today. My former managers back in Nigeria. I'm thankful to my friends that I've made here. I'm thankful to the Calgary community, the resources, the information that keeps being provided has been next to none. And so, I'll just summarize by saying that it's not all been rosy, but it's been worth the move. And yes, would I recommend a move to Canada to anyone thinking about it? Well, for sure, I will, because it may get rough at the beginning, but at the end of the day, it's usually worth it. Thank you.
My name is Taya El Nathan. I am a chartered accountant. I wear many hats. I'm a mom, I'm a business owner, and I'm a non-profit leader. My Canada story, my immigration to Canada story is that Canada has proven to be a place of promise, a place of freedom and stability for me and my family. I came to Canada 2009 in the height of that recession, and initially it was tough for me as a woman, as a mom, to find gainful employment. Then I went back to school, which was a good opportunity that Canada also afforded me. And I became, after several years, a chartered accountant. And ever since then, I've been able to work in my profession, in my field. Canada opens doors. There are doors that Canada has opened. Lots of opportunities have come just being in this field, being in this country. One of the things I'm thankful for is the safety, the stability, the ability to access free health care, the fact that I can voice my opinion if there's something that I'm not happy about, that my children get to go to school in an environment where they are not exposed to things that are not necessary for their growth. I'm thankful that this country has stayed peaceful. The community that we are part of has stayed encouraging and loving. I say to newcomers coming in, find your community, find your tribe, stay because you will thrive. Canada affords you the opportunity to thrive. So yes, I'm thankful. I remember when COVID happened, the government had a lot of opportunities to provide feeding for people, so you could stop at your local church or your local meeting place and obtain a hamper for food. There's childcare benefits, there's the workers' benefits that some people do qualify for. There's GST. Canada has been very generous, and so we do our part to contribute back to the society, to pay our taxes, to help out, even in the non-profit space. So yes, would I do it again? Would I come to Canada again? Yes, I'll do it a million times over. I like this country, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to be here.
We always talk about the importance of community and culture, but all of these things are built on the foundation of the individual. You are the cornerstone of this great, big, multicultural mosaic. And I know in this room we have storytellers, we have artists, engineers, healers, dreamers. Each one of you has a story that is shaped by where you came from, but also where you're going. Your personal journey with all its twists and turns adds a unique brushstroke to the bigger picture. The value of you is not just in your past or your present, it's also what you bring to the future. Each decision you make, each action you take contributes to the legacy you're building. And when you embrace your unique identity, you are not just honoring yourself, you're honoring everyone who helped shape you. One of the things I call you to imagine is to see ourselves as a garden. Because if you have a garden, we've all probably seen gardens, except maybe the young people who have not really gone back home to see those vast gardens. When you look at a garden that has one crop, when it has one crop, say sunflowers, and all you see is an endless view of sunflowers, all you will see is yellow and green. It kind of gets boring after a while, you know? But if you're walking through a garden and there's different colors and there's different shapes and heights of plants, there is something it stirs inside of you. Each of us adds something unique, whether it's a perspective, a tradition, or just that one dish no family event would be complete without. And when we come together, we don't just blend our differences, we create something entirely new and wonderful. I invite you to take a moment to recall the last time you contributed something only you could. Was it a story that only you could tell because you lived it? Was it advice that only you could give because you walked that path? Was it a song that only you could sing? I always hear that Bollywood music and I'm like, is it real? And today I had it and that's awesome, right? Or perhaps was it simply being there for someone in a way that only you could be? Because sometimes people will be there for you and you don't feel it until that one person shows up. These moments, big and small, are where the value of you truly shines. They are reminders that no matter how big or small your contribution seems, it matters. It adds to the richness of our collective experience and makes us all better for it. Each one of you is a special aroma-filled and tasty dish that is a vital part of this community feast. And together, we create something beautiful. Let's continue to embrace our differences, celebrate our unique contributions, suspend judgment, and never forget the incredible value that each of us brings to the table. Thank you for being you and for making this community, this gathering, and this world a better place simply by being uniquely you.